welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Theresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be a 13-seat clock calendar reading for Aquarius. That's Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, anyone affected by Aquarius energy. Uranus being retrograde and then direct in Taurus. I think that's it for now. There's going to be a whole bunch of planets clustered into Aquarius in December and January. So I have a pile here in the middle for December, and then the rest of it's going to be looking into 2021. I have... I forgot to say what decks I was using in my last reading, so I don't have to type it below. I'll do that real quick here. I'm using the Thoth deck. I'm going to be using my Bucket of Charms. I have the Syrian Starseed Tarot. And I have my phrase deck that I made. These are actually just sort of random bits from books and a couple magazines and or manuals, and paraphrased with the page numbers on them. So that's what I'm using. Do I have anything else going on? Yeah. Let me just talk about what's going on in Aquarius. Eyelashes all over the place here. Okay. So in December, in Aquarius, we have so both Jupiter and Saturn are going to be moving into Aquarius in December. Saturn and the Moon are... Let me see, let's check this real quick. Yeah, Saturn and the Moon are moving together. They're in Capricorn on the 16th to 17th of December, and then they skip into Aquarius together for the 18th and 19th, and then the Moon moves on its own. Now, on the 25th and 26th of December, the Moon is going to be in Taurus. And because Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, there's going to be a little bit of a... like passing notes to each other in class kind of situation. And then additionally, Jupiter skips in to Aquarius on the 20th when the Moon moves on. Alright, so Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius together as of the 20th of December. Alright, so this sort of heavy Capricornian energy is going to get a kick, and it's going to be a little bit of like 2 against 1 kind of energy while Uranus is retrograding in Taurus. Now on January 14th, Uranus goes direct in Taurus, and there's going to be a little bit of friction because Mars is going to be in Taurus with Uranus at the time. So it's sort of like, who's this sneaking in behind my back? And it could either be like a surprise communication or like some kind of revelation that might initially piss somebody off. But when Uranus goes direct, the Moon, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn are all going to be in Aquarius. So there's this huge energy cluster going on. So it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Now we're also coming off of the full moon in Gemini energy on November 30th. So that's still going to be affecting things, especially in December. Now, I don't know when the full moon is in December yet. I have not looked, but I should probably check. So it's on December 30th. Which is going to be in Cancer. So it's going to be a crap ton of moon energy kicking off into the new year. Full moon in Cancer during its opposite buddy sign of Sun in Capricorn. So, alright. So we have that to look forward to. So let me get into this reading now. So we have Aquarius energy here, focus to about here. Let's see what's going on with December for Aquarians. So we have Mars in Aries. The Two of Wands. Look at this. This reminds me of the Parva in the movie, the Shadow movie, with Alec Baldwin. That's what I named my cat after. She just died recently. Alright. So, Mars. Yeah, Mars is in Aries for all of December. I haven't looked to see where it's going to be in January yet, except that it's going to be in Taurus on the 14th. So somewhere between, what's today? Somewhere in the next 6 weeks, Mars is going to be moving out. Well, not in the next 6 weeks. Somewhere between January 1st and January 14th, Mars is going to be moving into Taurus. But it's still in Aries. It's been direct for a few minutes since the 13th. And this kind of looks like a spin the bottle situation. It's like trying to find the true north, which makes sense because this Aries energy, no, Mars energy, Jesus Christ. Well, both of them really. It starts off at a point and it spreads out like a tree branch. This is actually a little bit of like which way am I going? Where's my navigation? Right? It makes sense because Aquarius's home planet is retrograde, so you might feel a little fuzzy in the head in terms of where you're at. But I see this as like a compass spinning kind of wildly, right? Like somebody put a magnet over it and it's making a decision. But there's only 2 choices because we're only at a 2. We're not at a 6 in terms of choice, right? I can feel the heat coming off the street, and it's like a hurry up and wait kind of energy. It's called Dominion, right? Which of these lands am I going to go and explore and put my manifest destiny all over? But the issue there, especially with that sort of finding new lands to conquer type of energy, is you can either go and meet the people and work with them in this sort of mutual benefit, trade, exchange of culture, or you could just go in and give people smallpox blankets and murder them and build your house there. That's the choices, which makes sense with Mars energy, right? The god of war. It's diplomacy, it's learning about other people, it's engaging in psychological needs and issues. It's about, again, having some kind of dominion over the functions of an area. right? Expanding your reaches from a central point, which is very gubernatorial. I don't know if that means just like, well, yeah, that means governance, the governor. So we have 4 of flames in reverse. I'm not surprised if we don't have the 2. Did that come in upside down? No, it didn't. It came in upright. So the 4 of flames in reverse, but I'm not surprised to see this way. So we have Venus in Aries. Right? I can't grow and nurture what it is I'm doing if I'm still working on making a choice. But we see already it goes from 2 to 4. There's an exponential amount of energy. It's like a spring that's being coiled under pressure, and at some point there's going to be a release. Again, that hurry up and wait energy. It's like I got places to go, shit to build. I'm starting to gain some insight. 58 breaking down to 13, breaking down to 4. Now 5 is a pivot, 8 is strength or justice, right? I need to figure out if I'm going to use brute force or if I'm going to be equitable. And I'm still working on figuring it out. A 13 going through some kind of transformation. 4 so I can, especially because I have Aries and Mars energy here, 4 is ultimately the Emperor, which is the ability to rule over the 4 kingdoms without ego. Right? I've engaged in knowledge from different experiences and molded it into a little wisdom ball. And I am transformed by this in a way that helps me build myself on a new level. Right? So there's this like metaphorical thing going on of nation building, of kingdom building, but it's all it's basically in more time than I thought. It's basically going on in the core of your being. Right? You're building a world inside of your solar center so that you can expand outward and ultimately come into who you are as a person. Who am I? What am I doing? Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see the world pop up in this reading because of this. Alright, so let me move this out of the way. And get some charms for an overview of 2021. Oh, wait, one on the back. Just laughing because I realized what one of these charms is. Oh, and I already know what it's referencing to. Hang on, I need one more that needs to come out, I think. Get from the other. Nope, not this same side. Okay. One more. Okay. Wow, alright, hold up. Not so fast. Okay. I have a bunch of... Oh, okay. So here's this castle, and it came in inverted. It's the same as the 4 of Wands inverted, especially this card, because it's, copy and paste here. So inverted. The same, not in a good place or timing to build yet. Now, I have a bunch of charms in reverse here in the center. I'm going to read these together because I saw them coming out. So first I see my Weird Al charm. Alright, so I already know I'm going to get a Weird Al download from one of his songs. And now I see the bone here. And I see the club, which is one of my Ace of Wands alternates. Right? It's like, are you gonna like mace somebody and take their stuff, or are you going to work with them? Are you gonna, get down to the bare bones of what's really needed? Maybe some trade, travel, like a vacation thing. But that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking of Bedrock Anthem. Right, so look up Bedrock Anthem by Weird Al. It's actually a parody of two different Red Hot Chili Peppers songs, which makes sense because we're in Wands. 3 minutes. Okay. So okay. So I got the bones, and I was thinking of be the first Rolling Stones subscriber, got a pterodactyl for a windshield wiper. A doggy named Dino, do a little bowling and we drink a little vino. And one of the other lyrics is wear a loincloth, natural fiber. I don't have a t-shirt here, which is not natural fiber. Be the the hat here just to me is sort of like part of this like ruggedness, sort of like cowboy kind of energy. Oh man, I had the lyrics so much better before I started trying to talk about them. I think it's on the Alapalooza album, which has the Jurassic Park kind of logo on it. But all of these together in the reverse is sort of like, we're not going to do things in a way that's archaic and comedic in its barbarity, basically, right? Sort of abusive, misogynistic, antiquated technology. I'm gonna, sort of slapstick kind of energy. I'm gonna poke you in the eyeballs and take your candy. And we don't really need that anymore. There's this point of reflection on the past in that way. So I have this mask here. Now, one of the other, it must have been Capricorn because I did it earlier, had the sad mask, but this is the happy mask. But the eyes don't look real happy. It's like, in the past I was putting on a show pretending like I was doing like everybody else was, and it wasn't really working for me, which is why I'm reflecting on it now. So I have 3 liquids in the reverse, right? Not really a liquid, a message in a bottle. A message in a bottle. Takes a long ass time to get there. I've been waiting since the Stone Age. Lithium ion battery, except that it's just a chunk of rock. I have the travel coffee. I'm staying up all night waiting for some kind of a message. And then I have this Ace of Cups Grail in reverse as well. Right? It's like nothing's fulfilling me. I'm running on empty. And there's no grand information. The battery died and my segment ended at the same time, so I was saying with these three things here, it's like you're waiting for a message to come in, to have some kind of fulfillment, and you're just like waiting and waiting, and you're like, oh, I need a coffee, this is taking forever, and it's like not coming in. Those are all inverted. So before I get to the upright charms and redo those again, while I was off camera for a minute, I looked up more of the lyrics online. So ones that I picked out, it says, I get by on all my prehistoric know-how, right? It's like, you know, doing things the old way has worked up until now. But you see, because there's a choice coming in, and this sort of, like the poles are flipping, kind of magnetic interference. It's like, now, well, things that were, traditional behaviors no longer work, and now I don't know where I'm going. Okay. So Lodge Brothers Loyal Order Water Buffalo, there's a handshake everybody gotta know, right? It's like you have to behave a certain way to be part of the in crowd. And if you change, then you're sort of ostracized. Right? It says, how come Grand Poobah always gotta run the whole show? That's that idea of trying to get to that emperor energy and sort of expand your core. I need to have more confidence in myself and my ability to where I'm going. I think that's all the lyrics that are relevant right now. I don't think I need the rest of them. Okay, so I see this umbrella that I'm looking at, and I can hear Eric Clapton where it's like, it's either make it rain or let the rain, rain, rain come down on me, or something like that. I'm distracted because I see another charm over here. So way off past August, into the weeds here, I have the heart inverted. Right? We had the Grail, the Ace of Cups, and now the heart inverted as well. Lack of emotional fulfillment. So now I have this, like letting it rain come in upright. Camera. And then I have the icosahedron, which I believe is representative of water, but I'm not sure. But it also represents expansion within the universe, right? I'm expanding my horizons. I'm letting a new kind of emotional energy come in. I got the maple syrup here. Like there's a sweetness that needs to come in, instead of just sort of, what people think of as like Neolithic humans. It's not really true, but they think of like Cro-Magnon man or Neanderthal, or Homo habilis, Homo erectus, all those guys. And they're like, knuckle dragging the females by the hair, like stabbing things with the arrows, and just sort of like kind of energy, just like a very extremely low vibrational male energy, which kind of makes sense because we started off in December with this 2, which is, low vibrational, right? That's why when you're playing cards, the deuce doesn't get you much in terms of, winning a bid, or taking the cards, or whatever the hell game you're playing. And I also see this maple syrup, and I think of Super Troopers, and they're like, chug it! Except the stuff that they're drinking is like fake restaurant syrup. This is like actual... Ooh, and with the bone in reverse too. Here's the bone. And it's like the marrow of the tree. There's an essence of receiving sweetness and energy like getting a high, like a sugar high, like a kick from grounding, from like separating your emotions out from energies that you need to ground, so that every time you try to stabilize yourself, you don't get overwhelmed by your emotions. You're boiling them off. As we started out with the heat energy, right? It's like I am extracting emotional baggage so that I can see that when I give myself nourishment, that I'm doing it with some sort of thought and compassion in that way. Oh, what is this? Okay. Alright, so I have a goose here. I've drawn it to be sort of honky honk, angry goose. And then I have the train crossing sign here. I just drew a train on it, so it was understood what the X meant. Alright, you have to stop and wait for the train to cross the tracks. And a lot of the time you see the goose is angry, especially because of the way I've drawn it. But again, a goose is very much a flightless bird. It's like what a dinosaur has evolved into, basically. Sort of, I just heard capricious. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm actually going to look that up. This thing where I know words, but I don't always know the precise definition of them, because I've read many, many books in my life, and it doesn't always stay in there. I think it was a Clive Barker book. And I don't know if it was in a Magica or if it was in one of the other ones. I think it was Clive Barker. He used an adverb. So like adenoidally or something like that. Or adenoidal. And I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? I have had my adenoids removed and they grew back. And then they had to be taken out the second time. Cat hair from those Barbie dolls. Capricious. Got the old Webster's Dictionary there from the 70s. Capricious. Only looking it up because it's important. Goose energy. Helps if I look up the CA section and not the CO section. Getting closer. Okay. Subject to caprices. I love that circular fucking defining. Tending to change abruptly and without apparent reason, erratic, flighty. Showing wit or fancifulness. Inconstant. Which is interesting because it's right next to Capricorn, and I was thinking that the snow goose was like a symbol of Capricorn in some of those animal totem things. So a little bit of devil energy, a little bit of Capricorn energy. And this, now usually I would get that change on a dime kind of energy from the rhino, but we don't have the rhino, we have the goose. So it's kind of like when you're petting a cat and it lets you touch its belly, but if you pet it wrong or too much, it goes from touchy-feely to ouchy-bleedy real fast. The 10 minutes, okay. So this could be dealing with mood swings, but it's like people might think, like, what the hell, like, where'd this come from all of a sudden? What are you on about? And you're like, look, motherfucker, like, I'm tired of this old, crappy, stupid stuff that's not getting me anywhere emotionally or spiritually, right? I'm gonna bite it in its fat ass and call it a day, right? It's like, I don't need to have a reason to want to change. And notice how also the goose is a waterfowl, so there's this idea of having some connection to emotions, to psychic downloads in some way. I don't want to just be like base, like only rock, no flappy. Now also here we have a flight, someone in flight. We have this fae person here and a tulip that's come out nearby, sort of holding a little fairy scepter. Thumb in the way. There we go. Animation. I'm getting a little bit of like fairy godmother energy, right? Your spirit guides are coming in, trying to give you that fresh perfume, trying to whisk you away to a world of fancy where you have control over your dreams. I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but there it is. All right, so that's Aquarius's theme, is coming out of the base instinct, me human, me want, me get energy, to a little more like, we have a radio signal coming in. It's like, ooh, you know that thing where they had the satellite and they got like a number sequence and the guy wrote yes on it with an exclamation point? That's what that energy is like. It's like, you know, to the moon, Alice, except like, oh, you're Alice in Wonderland. We're going to a different experience, right? We're having an out of body experience, and when we come back, we have learned how to, you know, create computers and rocket ships and stuff like that, which makes sense because we have Aquarius, all right? So that went on for a long ass time. So let's get into what's going on in January for the birthday. Whether you know it or not, you need their guidance, right? Your guides. You need them. So I have 63. Now what's interesting is in Capricorn's reading, 63 and 36 and 3 and 6 and 9 and 18 were important. So maybe it's coming around again here. I mean, there's the sequence is sort of necessary to tap into the energy of the universe. So maybe that's what's going on. Whether you know it or not, you need their guidance. So we have adaptive flames. Okay, so this is the Knight of Flames. What's his energy? Scorpio and Sagittarius energy with fire of fire. Now, when I see a Knight upright, it means to me also the Hangman is inverted. So there's a little bit of a kick from Neptune energy. It's like when you become hot to trot, your subconscious kind of speeds you towards whatever your undisclosed desires are. Right? He's ready to rock and roll. He's been staring at the candle flame, getting downloads from his guides for the last 3 hours, and now he's ready to go. And it's like, you know, don't forget what you just heard. Right? Don't get out into the first crossroads and then lose your position. But if you do, then you need the guidance and the confidence in your core and your gut to know where you need to go. So inverted, we have Queen of Wands. Okay? Right? You need the guides. You don't have that psychic build-up on your own quite yet. You're still starting out. And we have a 13 here, which is an internal transformation, right? I'm still working on my core. I'm still getting my energy built up from this sacral chakra, right? I'm still working on my lithium ion batteries. And I do have a feeling it's sort of like when Uranus goes direct just before Aquarius birthday season, it's gonna be like a rebirth. But when something's really fresh, like you get a new technology from the store, sometimes you still have to charge the batteries before you could use it. And this is, I am fresh, I'm ready, I'm chomping at the bit, right? This is I had hurry up and wait, and now we're chomping at the bit. And might still need a little bit of training wheels or course correction. And so let's look at February. I better start another segment. Or February. Okay, Three of Cups inverted. So I got this in the other reading, in the Capricorn reading as well. We have the energy, Mercury and Cancer. Okay. So I feel like this is sort of, okay. This is an energy picking up in February that is kind of an aftershock of the full moon in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and then the full moon in Cancer in December. And notice when we had this overview, we had this cup inverted, right? It was, inverted. I just heard Spill That Wine. Is that Arthur Brown? Is that who does that? The Strange World of Arthur Brown. Now, this is usually like the Party All the Time. And I just heard it, celebrate good times, come on. It was like that Slap the Monkey Flash game. If you hit it over 200 miles an hour, it would play that song. So here it's like we're going a little bit slower, right? We're not crossing the finish line yet, right? We just got going, and we have this balance of sort of shifting in and out between the dark and the light, right? I haven't had emotional fulfillment, but I'm still trying to work on getting rid of the emotions that don't suit me, right? I don't want to be part of your loyal order water buffalo, because I feel like I'm a drone of some sort. I'm like, why am I paying allegiance to some doofus with a hat on? Like, what is really fulfilling? What is, what false leadership have I been adhering to that makes no sense in the reality of my personal expansion or the expansion of those around me? Like, what is the point except to, pretend like I'm important because I'm being like everyone else? This sounds too good to be true, right? Like, if I'm in this club, then I'm awesome? That doesn't make any sense. So I have 94, which breaks down to 13, which breaks down to a 4 again. So we see 9 and 4 and 13 and 36 popping up here for Aquarius. It's like there has to be some kind of catch. I can't just, you know... It's like... It's almost like, is it okay to let go of these emotions? And we see that I have a 13 here coming off of this 13. It's like... And then we have this very orange. It's like... I need to clean... I need to scrub my bathtub. It's like, wait, is that all that I need to do? I don't... Like, there's this idea of confusion, right? I'm not quite sure where I'm going. What's the deal here? But let me see what this other card is. Okay, so we have the devil. So we have that goose again. Right, a little bit. The capriciousness. It seems too good to be true. How do I know you're not going to bait and switch me? Now, interestingly enough, when I did Capricorn's reading, I got my little DNA charm, but here in these two cells, there's meiosis and mitosis happening. There's replication and division. Replication, like everybody else. Division, if you're not one of us, then you're against us. Well, this is stupid. It's... Again, there's Capricorn energy coming in, and it's like, what do you... You have to do some work to make a decision. There has to be a discernment. Right? Like, it's like, my heart is full of fuck, and I need to trust my gut, but I'm not confident enough to be able to, like, use my antenna to X-ray vision people to know if they're friend or foe just yet. I'm sure there's another interpretation for this, but this is the energy flow that I'm getting. Right? There's a need for discernment and this idea of, you know, once bitten, twice shy. Sort of realizing that everything is sort of base, and then sort of questioning motives, right? I'm now that I'm sort of jacked into a higher frequency, I'm looking at everything around me and being like, this can't be right. Doesn't make any goddamn sense. So let's look at March. Marcha. Migration, sending out a search party, $3.99. Okay, this is from Jurassic Park. I got this, it's something like a week or so ago. But I saw the geese, the goose. I mean, this is sort of like a white goose because I didn't put any markings on it. But Canada geese are, which Canada also has maple syrup, but I mean, I'm a little bit biased. I think New Hampshire maple syrup is the best, but this is me. Alright? There's a song lyric, and I'm sending out a message to you. Sending out a message to you. And I can't think of what it is. Giving me an 80s vibe, but it could be newer. But it's like I'm using a different compass, right? If the poles shift and the magnetic poles shift, the birds get all screwed up and they don't know where they're going. And it's like when you have a shift of energy, you have like a consciousness migration. And people might be like, where the hell are you? Like, this isn't who are you? But notice again, I had 9 and 4. Ooh, the lights blinked. I really hope the power doesn't go out because I have a video that's almost done combining and it needs like another hour. Please do not. Okay, thanks, bye. But anyway, I see 9 and 9, 18, breaks down to 9 again and 3, breaks down to 12, breaks down to 3. There's these like numbers that recombine and break down again. And it's like, you know, the thing that you're searching for, it just sort of breaks down to something that's just really simple. And all you got to do is move along the path a little bit to sort of find yourself in some way, and it doesn't matter if other people sort of fall out of your life. It's a natural part of things. You know, like when there's some kind of upheaval and there's a mass migration, there's always people that stay behind. When there's like a hurricane warning and they tell people to evacuate, there's always people that don't migrate, and sometimes they have to send out a search party for them afterwards. And it kind of reminds me of the story of this there's some lady who was going around with a search party for hours and hours, and then they found out that the search party was looking for her. It's very that. You know, it's like this idea that you're I just heard a little bit of Janelle Monáe. It's like getting on the elevator, we're on the next level. I'm misquoting that lyric, but it's something like that. So we have the Seven of Crystals. This is sort of warning of a tower moment. The Seven of Pentacles is Saturn in Taurus. Interesting. I'm gonna blow my nose. Hold on. So again, Saturn, Capricornian energy. I notice that I mentioned the world, and I have a third of that. Right? It's sort of a division or separation, like a tithing. Although that's usually 10%. Why did I say that? I'm getting like Mistress Mary quite contrary. How does your garden grow? Because the Seven of Crystals, the Seven of Pentacles is usually like I'm waiting for my plants to reach fruition. And when it's inverted, it's usually impatience. But here it's more like I'm sitting and having a think. I want to see what this other card is, because I've never been that baffled before. Okay, so we have 9, the Hermit. I was looking at this and I'm like, Virgo energy. And then I'm like, Saturn and Taurus, that's not Virgo. What the crap? But here's the Virgo energy, the Hermit. So 9 and 7, that's 16. That's a tower, which I thought I saw somewhere, but... Oh. Looking towards the tower. I'm having a think, and then I have the Hermit, I'm going within. I'm coming to fruition is like, in some sense, maturing. And the Hermit is Virgo, which can be a childlike presence, a youthful presence. I'm a neophyte. I'm trying to learn. I'm sending out a search party to my insides to find out who I really am. It's like I've been in this place of follow the leader and never been really in a place to establish and say I am the adult in my world. It's inner child shadow work. Yeah. Thought I had something else to say, but I do not. So let's look at April energy. What's wrong, dear? 10, so a number of completion. The Magician and the Fool at play. So we have the Lover's 6. Now notice when I said that this is a choice, but we're only choosing between two things. It's like a simpler decision. But the Lovers is a more what is it? I want to say advanced decision, informed decision. right? I've been reviewing stuff. I have more options available. I've been, is it this? Is it this? Oh, maybe it's this over here. I've been thinking. I've been sitting down and having a think. It's also Gemini energy. Now, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and so is the Lover. So it's just a hop, skip, and a jump. I'm hitting that masculine and feminine energy, right? I'm just sort of practical, logical, but I'm also in tune with my heart. I could be trying to work out a relationship, and I could also be doing the other aspect of this card is the healing. So we have the Queen of Discs, the Queen of Pentacles. So we leveled up really quickly from the 7 to the 13, which breaks down again to a 4. It's like, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Does my healing seem off to you? You don't like me now that I'm not susceptible to your puppet strings? So look at May. I should point out that these energies are not specifically like it's only this month, and if you don't have this happen in this month, then this reading isn't for you. It's these energies could happen anytime during 2021. They could be happening all at the same time. They could be happening in a different order. They could be January to May is just January, or the first week of January, and the rest of it takes, there's like a gap, and then the rest of it takes place from like April to August or something. You know, the time scales are different and the energies hit differently. Okay, so this was inverted and I wanted to flip it over. So it's the Ace of Flames. So there might be a little bit of a delay or confusion in that. But again, it's this, I'm finding my core, my confidence, where I'm at. I've had enough time to work on myself and to break away from this old way that I now am established in my core. Two, change. See, it's this is the Two of Pentacles. Jupiter and Capricorn. I've completed this cycle by doing all this work, and I don't need to tiptoe between this old world order, oh man, I can't believe I just said that, and my new frame of expanded consciousness. Usually this means I can't make a decision. I'm juggling things. But this, the way I'm seeing it now, it's like I don't have to worry about straddling the two worlds because I am in control of my own self. Right? Set your boundaries, right? I don't have to be torn between these two things. Now, I'm seeing this as the absolute value of 7, even though it's 171, which tells me the Chariot energy. And I did see this train here, but I don't think I mentioned it necessarily. Breaking down to a 9. Again, that's like I'm... In my youth, I might not have had boundaries, but I am in control of who I am, and I decide where my boundaries are. Just because I let you push me around or backhandedly compliment me in the past, even though you were just kidding, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do things that don't make sense to me, that don't offer me any emotional fulfillment. Again, the Ace of Wands. So if that one wasn't sure, now we're definitely sure. I can turn it up the heat there. Grounding of the Heart Center, 18. So that's moon energy. Breaking down again to a 9, which is Virgo energy, which is ruled by air but is an earth sign. So I'm, again, it's just it's like I'm confident, I'm rooted into myself. I've explored my darkness, and I feel confident in myself. Even notice how this Ace of Wands has green on it. The heart energy. And it could also be earth energy, which is grounding. What is this number? Oh, 9. 9 and 1 is 10. Completion again there. And now I have the Six of Flames. This is usually the victory card. It's coming out inverted, though. Jupiter in Leo. Interesting. The Sun inverted. Again, so moon energy. I've changed course. I've turned it around. I'm gaining illumination from my own darkness. You know, I might be perceived. I missed the end of my segment. Okay, so I was saying I might be perceived as like not winning, or I might not be perceived as, you know, someone that everybody likes anymore. It's like, oh, you're not one of us anymore. We're not gonna pat you on the back. We don't love you. You know, you're dead to me, kind of energy. But it's this idea of, I don't need you to tell me if I'm winning or not, because I have the confidence in myself. I'm not going to Seven of Wands fight you. I'm going to just, you know, I'm going to be grounded in my heart center and not fight some battle with you that's pointless. And you might be like, it might be one of those things where someone tries to argue with you and you're like, you know what? I really am not interested. And they're like, loser! I won this argument. It's like, you're going to win a conversation. So maybe I was like in a really good flow too before I realized that my segment had ended. But maybe I was supposed to change it to what I just said. So there we have it. It's, I'm having a really hard time recording and minding my segments and batteries and everything today. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm like, duh. Full moon in Gemini. Communication. So I'm just gonna go with it here. So we have July. Let's see what's going on here. Are they poisonous? 187. So I see 18, I see possibly 17 with a strength stabbed in the middle of the star there. I see an infinity symbol in 17, like I have infinite hope for the future. I'm healing. I have the strength to heal myself. And I also see 15, the devil, with the magician, but I also see 16, the tower, which breaks down to 7, which is that chariot energy again, which is the moon. Alright? So, we might get into this more. 5 of chalices inverted. So we had 3 cups inverted, and now we have 5 inverted. Is it poisonous? I'm not drinking this shit. No way. No way, Jose. 5 of cups, Mars in Scorpio. Now, if anything's going to be poison, it's going to be Mars in Scorpio. I mean, for realsies. Swearsy realsies for realsies. What is the 5 of Cups? Broken-hearted. Interesting. Oh. Is this a toxic relationship? That was a long walk for that. Five of Discs, worry. This is usually the I feel left out, but I see this huge pentacle here, and it's like a machine. But it also looks like that thing where they have all the stuff at the eye doctor when they're testing your vision. Is this relationship toxic? I'm kind of worried about that. My vision is being tested. My I see kind of indigo and yellow here. It's like, is my intuition going to line me up with my core? Am I able to read? Like, do you need glasses to read the people around you? It's, and it's not necessarily enough to be in your core and be able to be sort of victorious within yourself and have these, where you're just like, nah, I'm good, thanks, no thanks. It's being able to see into other people's energies. It's like, is this person at a point where they can come with me, or are they still in the Stone Age? Are they going to bite the hand that feeds them? Are they going to snap because my new energy is so foreign to them that they see me as a threat? Mm-hmm. When people are very much in this low vibration, if you come to them with light, they'll automatically attack it. They're just like, I don't know you, but I hate you. It's like, what are you, some kind of a queer? Which is like basically the biggest insult that people have usually for people who are sort of creative and in their own energy. It's either like, she's a man or you're some kind of queer. I'm not going to say the F word. And it's kind of a weird talking out of both sides of your mouth kind of insult. It's like, if you stand up for yourself, you're a pussy. If you don't adhere to somebody's abuse, you're a piece of shit, or you're gay or something like that, as if gayness was like the worst thing you could possibly be. It's like, oh, you're in tune with your own energies, you're standing up to societal norms, you're interested in more colors of the rainbow, and it's I don't know why I'm talking about it like that. It's like instead of being proud that you're the first person in a family in recent known history to graduate from high school, and maybe you're even going to college, and they're like, ooh, fancy with all your book learning. We don't read around here. It's like, get out of here, you liberal pansy. That kind of stuff. It's like, if you're doing something new and you've migrated your brain space to somewhere else, people who are in this sort of base existence where they fear anything that's outside of their little box because they don't understand it, they don't know it, it's looks at them funny, it smells weird, it tastes funky, and they're like, no, that's what these two piles are about. So let's look at August. Even if you don't believe in it, experimenting with both practicality and spirituality could prove useful. Number 52. So this breaks down to 7, which is the Chariot again, but we have 5, which is the Hierophant, universal downloads, which can also be a pivot. And then we have 2, which is the High Priestess, which is also about psychic ability. Right? You want to be balanced. The Hierophant 5 is balance of the spiritual and the material, right? To get to the 5, masculine energy becomes the emperor, king of the 4 kingdoms, and the magician, you know, like magic, attachment to spirituality. Then he gets to the 5, the Hierophant, the, you know, I'm marrying the masculine and the feminine together. I am grounded Venus energy because of Taurus, but I also have Libra energy that balance mental perception. And then the feminine energy does it by being the High Priestess and the Empress together. So it's almost like we're looking for the Empress, but we still have the Chariot. We're still moving forward, right? So this is basically what the whole thing is about. It's like we're going out of this base practicality, which may even be distorted. Base practicality, distorted, potential distorted spirituality. And we're saying, I'm going to manifest in the real world. Wasn't there a Queen of Pentacles over here? Could have sworn I saw her. Yeah, the Queen of Pentacles. Who the hell was she? Could have sworn. I could have sworn I saw her. Oh, here she is. April, the Queen of Pentacles. Practicality. Alright. We're growing in terms of physical manifestation, but in order to do that, we do need to be more in tune to what's going on around us. And that way we're able to shift based on our intuition when the time calls for it, and we don't have to spend all this time down here wondering where the hell we even are. Two of Flames. Look at this. Just like I said, and here we have these eyes here, right? I just heard my eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. What a weird... I don't know why that's coming in. I'm not even religious. Or I'd say I tend to be anti-religious. But I also get new eyes. If you haven't heard that song by Adam Lambert, get into that. It's, you know, I'm lethargic. I'm beaten down by life. I'm not enjoying anything. Especially if you watch the video, the New Eyes video. And then all of a sudden there's... Oh, did I get the fairy in here? I did. There's some element of spirituality that really knocks through and just kind of... where's the tulip here? Just kind of magic wands you into a new perception, a new way of seeing what's going on around you. There's the Mars energy in Aries, an expansion. We're pushing outward into the world around us. You know, it's like a eureka moment. And there's the Hierophant. Okay, so the 52 on here, it might not necessarily be the High Priestess. We have the Hierophant and the Two of Flames. It's exactly what I was talking about. He's getting jiggy with it. I need a sip of water. My throat's kind of raw today. Be right back. I'll probably do a third of the reading today, but I'll probably need a break again. Okay, September. I just got, it was the 3rd of September, the day I'll always remember, 'cause that was the day that my daddy died. And that's, of course, the intro to Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Which is interesting, because we started out with Bedrock Anthem, right? The Stone Age. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. Where the hell? I got a fucking cowboy hat over here. And there's this idea of movement as well. Why am I having... Oh. Okay, let's see what this is about. September. Now we have the Ace of Cups, and it overfloweth. Let's look at the Lady of the Lake pushing this up. Right, I've gotten into this spiritual connection, but I'm still going to be practical, right? I'm not going to blindly follow some cult leader. I'm not going to, get my emotional fulfillment and my wisdom from what other people tell me. I'm going to connect deep into myself and let the downloads from my guides, the universe, my higher self, my inner child come in and tell me what's what. And when we get emotional fulfillment, my emotional truth, the truth in my heart center. Now I have a green card here, dark green. Buy one, get one free, 177. So I have 17, the star again, and then a 7 with it. Movement and the star. I'm coming into alignment. And then it breaks down to 14 in the Magician, or 15 the Devil. Either way, it combines down to 6, which is healing. But what is the free thing? What is the buy one get one free? 9 of Swords, cruelty. Interesting. Mars in Gemini energy. I think what this is saying is that sort of like be careful what you bargain for. Like be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. But there's also this thing of like, this reminds me of what Congress does, is there's going to be like an important bill that needs to be passed. And it'll get hung up in the Senate and it won't get passed because some asshole wants to put a bunch of what they call pork on it. They're like, well, if you want to have basic needs for a city of 30,000 people for every state in the country, then we want tax breaks for billionaires, and we want to increase our wages in the Senate, and we want to put $2 trillion into military spending. And you're like, it would cost $3 a day to do what we want to do, and you want to put $60 million worth of garbage on it, and then it gets hung up and the bill doesn't pass and people are suffering. This is what this reminds me of, right? Buy one community service, get one free military budget. Why is that coming in with the Ace of Cups, though? I want to get a couple of charms for that. This doesn't make any sense why those two messages are coming in. Maybe because there's a Gemini energy on there. But it's like, why the Nightmares card? Actually, you know what? I'm not going to get charms. I'm going to get a Thoth deck card. Let's go on in September. Oh, okay. I just heard that Papa was a Rolling Stone thing again. I think there could be an element of like a tit for tat. The nightmare is something that you've grown up with. Whenever you get something you truly want, there's usually a rider of some kind of punishment involved in it, and it's this idea of trying to break out of it. So on the bottom of the deck, it's like that's the truth. But let's see what this is. Love, 2 of Cups. So we have Venus in Cancer. Alright, so we got the 2 of Cups here, Venus in Cancer. This is... oh, that wind's picking up. This is the idea that I'm starting to understand what love is when it's not attached to negative consequences, right? It's not a tit for tat. It's an I'm in a state of unconditional. And in that way, I will have the power to end this nightmare and not have this buy one, get one pile of shit that you didn't order, and maintain my emotional truth. All right, so let's get into October. October. 8:25. Somebody open the door. All right, I had to stop for a second. Somebody open the door. 8:25. So I have 8, which is that strength and or justice number. I thought there were 8s in this reading, but I could be confusing it with the previous one. Yeah, I guess this one had 13s and 4s and not so much 8. I had to stop and do something else for a little while, so I lost the rhythm. But I have 2 and 5, I have 25, and I believe I saw that already. Is that here? Oh, I think it was over here. Somewhere. Where was that? Oh, it was over here. It was over here. I had 52 in August, and then in October we have 8 and then 25. So it's this idea of adding illumination and work to this position from August, right? I'm gaining strength from being true to my emotional core, or I'm gaining strength from healing from emotional wounds that bring me to my emotional truth. In that way I can move forward. 8 and 2, 10, completion. 5, that pivot, plus the 10, 15, the devil energy, which is that like huge push towards the task and also the release. Breaking down to 6, which is again the choice in the healing, right? I've got my foot in the door now. I'm able to be emotionally complete. We have indigo, so this is the magician in this deck, but it's also this idea of the indigo child. It's like I'm, like the idea, especially with the Syrian Starseed deck. Because the Fool in this deck is the Starseed. And let me see if it's still in the deck. If it's not, I might screw up the reading, but let me see. Because there's a progression. Give me a second. To see it. Oh, there it is. Thank God I didn't have to go through the whole deck this time. Right, there was an idea of a 10 going on here with that 5. So it's fine if I pull up the 0 to go with the 1. Right, so here's the 10. This is the first card in the deck. It's the Starseed. I'm coming down to Earth. This is a very, I was going to say this is a very Aquarian energy. But the Fool is Uranus energy to begin with, right? It's coming in from outer space. And it's not like I mean, sometimes, let's be honest, sometimes Aquarius can be a space cadet, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's like I'm daydreaming, I'm walking in the astral plane so I can get in touch with the spirituality and what the vibes that are going on out there. And I'm bringing all this network of data, these sort of light activation cheat codes in, and bringing it in for this consciousness evolution here, right? We're going to get it right in your crown chakra here of the lower dwelling earth peoples. And then we have this indigo child, right? So this is the crown chakra here, and this is sort of like a crystal egg. And I think, was it this one that had the 7 of crystals? Yes, it was. This is where it's growing on the inside, right? I'm born in with my third eye open, my crown open. I've got this blue energy and the purple energy coming in, and I'm on a mission to make waves, basically. And they have this superimposed on this kid, they have a nebula, which is where stars are born. A star is born. Oh. Right? I opened the door, I kicked it open, and I'm coming into this world. It's sort of like remembering what your purpose is. It's like being, it's like getting the keys to the magic kit. And then we have success, the 6 of discs. Now, I don't know if this was up or down, so I think it's in a challenge position. There's a sort of a delay or confusion, or it's something that's actively in progress. But this looks like a power grid to me. And then we have this lotus flower or rose or somebody in the middle there, which is very much like what's going on here with this lotus on the starseed card. This is the moon in Taurus. When is the moon going to be in Taurus? Oh, the 25th and 26th of December. I think I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, because it's aspecting the Aquarius retrograde in Taurus. And we see this especially on January 14th when Uranus goes direct. There's this like rebirth energy here, and that's why we have this kid. But this is sort of like an aftershock, because this is coming in October, 10 months later. It's like I'm giving birth to something, but I'm only, like, I'm laying the seed in January, and then it's born in October. And then we have a 6 here. Now, I could have a 16, but I could also have 7, the chariot. Something is moving forward. My project that I've been working on is achieving some success. It's stable. It's at a 6. Now, this is usually the guy with a balance in his hand. He's doling out money to a couple of people, and it's essentially the masculine energy's open heart chakra. And we've been working on emotions, and there's been this fire ace of wands. There's also masculine energy there. It's not to say there isn't feminine energy, because I believe I was talking about Virgo, and we had a couple of queens here, especially the Queen of Pentacles, which is interesting because we have it here. So it's like the feminine energy is kind of leading, and then the masculine energy is saying, I'm going to meet you halfway. You know, I'm picking up what you're laying down, and I'm doing that too. Right? It's like we start off in this sacral energy in the womb, and by the time we realize, like, in charge of my own authority, we're working together with balancing the energies. Now, more so very much more so than this, the Capricorn reading was about balancing the dark and the light and the masculine and the feminine. Here it's more subtle, and we see that, I mean, it makes sense because that there's masculine energy coming in because Aquarius is an air sign and swords are masculine. It's not to say that, you know, there's no feminine energy in there, because obviously the Queen of Swords and the High Priestess are coming in there as well. Even though the High Priestess is watery, but she's based in air because the lower vibrations of her are all air signs. 11 minutes. Okay. So we're in November here. I want this one first. I do not. I want to have this one first. Ah, I'm not surprised. So once we have this again, a fruition of the seeds that have been planted, my new concept has been born and is virile. It's got life to it. It's living and breathing as we speak. Now we have the sun in Aries. Now you see the difference here. This looks like I can't figure out where I'm going. This looks like the thing that they do. I think it has to do with binocular vision. But there's a thing that they do with measuring stars from 2 different angles, and they use the amount of lumens to determine how far away they are and how big they are and all this other crap. It's what was that? I want to say physics? Or one of those science classes I took in high school. I don't know if it was... I don't think I took astronomy, because I think maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I think it was physics. But they have this thing where they it's basically like stereoscopic stuff, you know, like Brian May does. He's an astrophysicist. So we've got 2 images, and then we're sort of looking through them into the middle to get more depth. And by virtue of this practice, we can see where we're going. We have the sun illuminating us, and we have the wand in the middle heading straight, which is where that dot in the middle of the sun comes. This brush is really, these bristles are like bleached white from like a gallon of gesso, which is also something that the sun will do. It's like your future is a blank page. You have a carte blanche to do what it is that you need to do for you. So we have reflection. So this is the Hermit again. It's like now that I see where my future is heading, I'm pulling more of what I need from the past. I'm keeping in touch with my dark side as I go into the light. 3 and 9, again with the 3 and the 9s. Enhanced calm, they're coming out. The cat emerges from the bag. Okay. So what is this? What's going on here? Again, I feel like I have 2 different messages coming out of the same pile. 78, so that's... Okay, so I have 7, 8, 9, so those clearly go together. There's a ramping up. Breaking down to 15, which is that devil and lovers dichotomy again. I think I'm going to get another one of these massage cards. Why you gotta be difficult, Aquarius? As if that was a question that needed an answer. Dang, okay. Would you literally die if you stopped following the societal program, comparing yourself to others? 161. So there's that 16, or the absolute value of 6. Okay. So this is about knowing where you're going, but it's sort of like you've got to step out of your blanket and onto the beach in your itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini, right? People are going to see you. They're going to know that you're not following the societal program. When you reflect, it's like, do I really care what they think? Why am I letting it get to me? It's like, I'm not going to die if I stop following them, and they need to accept that this is where I'm at. Now, this is like trying to work on the rest of your darkness for illumination to move forward. This and this and this is all that sacral and solar energy again. It's having the confidence to know what you're doing, and then to finally really let go of if people see you in your power and what you're doing. Okay. So December, last little roundup here. Take a well-deserved rest, 426. So we have 42, the answer to everything, with 6, the lovers, but this breaks down to another 6, which is the lovers, which breaks down to 12, which is a little bit of hangman, but it breaks down again to 3. Which is the Empress. Nurture it. And we have a green here. Like, give yourself a little pat on the back, self-care. So we have the 3 of orbs. This is the 3 of swords. This is heartbreak. And I kind of feel like, oh, everybody knows what's going on with me now. And they've kind of given me the big F you, and it hurt my feelings a little, and I need to take it down a notch and just hang out with myself and regroup. Okay. So this is 11 inverted. This is the strength card in this deck. But it's called Lust. And the way that I'm seeing this is that I've overcome this idea that I need people to think that I am attractive or valuable because I'm gonna present myself how they want a person to be instead of being myself. And again, it's like this idea of, where was it? This victory card, the 6 of flames inverted, with this lust card, which is normally be strength. It's like they think that I am not the shit anymore. And it hurts a little bit because I want love and to be accepted by other people, but it's like they're not your people. You're not winning if you're distorting yourself to appeal to other people. It's all about being in your power, and it's, I was going to say resting on your laurels, but that's not the kind of rest. It's like you've won the battle. You can have an internal lust for who you are as an entity, and that includes the sacral energy, the sexual energy, no shame, right? No overextension, no distortion, no shame. You're right. I am not ashamed to be who I am, all the way up and down my chakras, from the indigo light to the red sauce. The ketchup. Alright, so if you want to get a personal reading, you can hit me up. I have a complete list of readings and how much they cost in the description box of my infomercial video, which is going to be linked below this one. You can also email me Move this up a little bit. thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. I have Linktree, that's linktr.ee/CATtheMinion, where you can link to all this stuff, prints, merch, coloring books, poetry book. So shirts and stuff, Cafe Press, most of it psychedelic. I've got prints and actual art items here on DeviantArt and Etsy. Some of the profits to those, to certain pieces, are going to charity, so I encourage you to do that. I will donate more when I can afford it. I'm really broke right now, so I'm starting with 10% on certain pieces, and I'll go from there as I am able to increase it. And then there's a coupon code there, 3star17 for Etsy. If you go through the link tree, it'll pop up at the top of the page. If you want to help keep this channel running, you can donate paypal.me/CATtheMinion. I also have Cash App and Venmo. Those are in the link tree as well. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.